Hello. So yes, it's Tuesday live, and if you're live and you can see me, let me see your comment in the comment section, telling me that you can see me. While we try to log in to all other platforms. Welcome here. Thank you for joining me. I've never been. Oh yes, so I'm wearing the T-shirt that the parents in the inner circle gave me on my birthday. Yup. Let me start by saying thank you to everybody for all of the birthday wishes. It was quite a day. If I haven't responded to your wish, trust me, I'm going to do that. Thank you so much for joining me. Let's connect to other platforms. All right. Thank you so much. I've still got joy in chaos. I've got peace that makes no sense. I won't be going under. I've got help on my own. All right, so tell me where you are streaming live from. Tell me your location. I'm streaming live from the capital city, Abuja. Thank you so much for joining me. It is Tuesday live 2 p.m. and we are here to share with you what we have learned and the things that you can do better. Yes, thank you so much for joining me. If you're here, let me see your comment in the comment section as we go live. We're talking on understanding yourself as a parent for effective parenting. Let me see you tell me where you're streaming live from. If this is your first time, put a hashtag and tell me that it's your first time being here. Thank you so much, totally good. I see you. Thank you. I want to be sure that we are live on our Facebook community before we start. Okay, faithful to change and nation. So I will till now. You are alrighty. I think we're good to go. Please, if you're watching me on Facebook community, let me see your comment. Can I see a comment? That I'll be sure. Let me see your comment that I know that you're here. If you're asking me what is written on my t-shirt, it's written Mama Cathedral, EST 2018. So the parents in the inner circle, a particular cohort, actually calls me Mama Cathedral. And this was a birthday gift. All right. And what exciting. Yeah. Thank you so much for all of the gifts, the honors. Okay, I can see the people right on the Facebook community. I am hoping that you can see me. If this is your first time of joining me, put a hashtag and say first time joining you and where you are joining me from. Thank you so much for being here. Alrighty, I'm gonna pause the music. All right, so that was Fed Foundation featuring Chandler Moore, and of course, that was the Maverick City music. That's my latest, worship music, and that I enjoy. Thank you so much for joining me. I can see that the community on Facebook. I don't know why I can't see. Okay, the chats just started popping up. Thank you so much for joining me. And if you're joining me for the first time, put a hashtag and tell me that you're joining me for the first time. And yes, so let's go. This topic we're sharing today is an exciting topic to me particularly. Yes, I can see my friend right in the stream. Hi, Pali, I see you. I see you guys. All right, so understanding yourself as a parent for effective parenting. Whoops, we have 44 parents watching already on our YouTube community and Facebook. Thank you so much. We have about 30 parents. Okay. Log in, invite your friends, your family. Let them know that we're here to change the narrative of parenting. So understanding yourself for effective parenting. Many of the times, how many of us got married with the intent of I've just reached to get married, and then the next thing is it is time to have children? How many of us actually really prepared to have a child? How many of us asked the right questions before we started having children? I guess not many of us will answer yes to that question. All right. Sorry about that. I think I want to be sure that our Facebook link is not malfunctioning. Okay, I think we're good. All right. So, one of the things that I have come to realize is that many people never prepared to become parents. And then we all stumbled on parenting. You know how you stumble on something? You stumbled on parenting, you just became a parent. I would say that parenting happened. So parenting happened to too many of us. So we found ourselves, and then we became a parent and we started struggling with parenting. Who is on that table? Who is on that table? Because yours truly is also on that table, all right? I'm not an exception, okay? So we just, got to a place and then, they told us it's time. After all, time you're supposed to get married, you get married and then boom, it's children and all of that. Even though some of us had a wait time, thinking through our process, yet because we didn't have what what was required for us to make the changes as at then. So we just, continued to just, be parents. We just, I waited for a while before having children, but yet I didn't really understand a lot of the things that I know today. I wish I did, but I didn't. And of course, one of the things that happened to me was that when I stumbled on it, I found that I was struggling. I started my journey to looking for solution. And when I found the solution, I looked at it that so many of us are like me, who are also struggling, to be able to, also do these things differently. So many of us are actually on that table. So many of us were on that table, where we started parenting without any inkling of what to expect, and then we started to parent, from many of us didn't even understand who we were. So understanding who you are as a parent for effective parenting is a big deal. So the question is, who are you? A lot of us are not able to answer that question. When we ask that question, so many people answer, I'm a medical doctor, I'm a teacher, I'm a this, but that's not who you are. That's not the question that we are asking. So who are you is a very key and valid question that every single one of us must answer before we become parents. Now, because we are already parents, we're going to be answering that question, all right? And then be looking at how we are going to review it again for ourselves, all right? Why did I become a parent? Even though you didn't understand why you became a parent from the beginning, I think now is a good time to go back and redefine why you became a parent. Ask yourself, why did I even become this person, a parent to this person? Now, one of the reasons you will find when you start reviewing this question on your own is, why did I become a parent would mean it was time. Yeah, many of us. Someone to look after me when I'm older. Yes. Why did you become a parent? Let me see a few examples of why you became a parent. Let me see a few examples of why you became a parent. Write in the comment section. Why did you become a parent? All right. Why did I become a parent? Just answer that question sincerely, just off on the top of your head. All right. And if that helps you, you can just just write the first reason that comes to mind. Okay, before we start giving thoughts to it. I know that so many of us have gotten to a point where we're now thinking, all right, how we became a parent, why, and all of that. But the first thing that came to mind when you became a parent, right? Some of us became a parent, right? Well, because you wanted to be a parent? Is it just because you wanted to? Because you wanted to own your own family? Great. Because it was time. Because it's a norm in our society after marriage. Yes, it was time. Immediately after marriage, you have children. I wanted to have a part of me around. Interesting reasons. Facebook community, I can't see your reasons. YouTube community has a lot of conversations going on here. Please, let's see your reasons. I became a parent because I wanted to have children. Why did you want to have children? All right, immediately after getting married, that's what's next. Awesome. I realized that I became a parent because I love children. Oh, interesting. I wanted to be a mother. I wanted to raise godly seeds for God. I wanted to have a family. It was time to get pregnant. Yes. Who had children because it was a retirement plan? After all, people that would look after you when you are older. Let's have that come. Let's start that come, right? It was time to get pregnant. The norms, that's what's next. Let's have that come. Yes. So nobody became a parent so that, you can have people look after you. Who is on that table? I wanted to have my own children. I wanted to be called a mom. Okay, interesting. I'm having some interesting conversations right ongoing. I think there are conversations on Facebook that I can't read the conversations. I don't know why, but please keep it coming to raise kings that reign and make impact in life. All right, great. Now it is said, one of the expectations after marriage. Thank you, Miriam, for chatting that. I wanted to raise godly seed. Oh, interesting. Okay, because I love children. I didn't even know children were retirement plans. You did know? Oh, yes, children are retirement plans, of course. That's part of why, some people have children, so that there will be people who will look after them when you get older. According to my daughter. Yes, I became a parent because I love children, having children around me. God said we must be fruitful and multiply. I became a parent so that I can raise who will impact the world. I wanted to have evidence of connection with my hobby. Interesting, that's it. Evidence of connection with my husband. That thing that will tie the both of you together. That is why you became a parent. Parents are retirement plan only in Africa. Oh, definitely. That's one of the key reasons in Africa why parents have children. Let me just have someone that will look after me when I'm older. So of course, we created that as a retirement plan. Thank you so much for all of the answers. Now, when the purpose of the thing, I wanted to have people who can depend on me, having children of my own. Interesting. When the purpose of a thing is not known, complete the sentence. Abuse is inevitable. One of the problems we have today is that we don't even understand why we became parents in the first place. We are not aware why we needed to be parents. We just became parents because it was time. So we don't even know who we are. So we don't even understand who we are parenting. We have not even finished understanding us. And then we don't even understand why, we are, parents in the first place. And then, boom, we've abused the concept of being a parent because we do not have the understanding. When the purpose of a thing is not known, abuse is inevitable. So as a parent, one of the things that I have found is the place of being able to see, to understand why you're doing what you're doing. Our why. Until you understand your why, you will keep going back and forth on your journey. So many of the times, we are where we are because our why is not clear. I was teaching the parents in the inner circle recently on honor as a skill. How honor is more important than obedience. And I said to them that the ability, to actually understand that it's a key thing for you to honor your home is actually key on your journey as a parent. Now, a lot of us just say things like, I don't really have time for my children. And that is because we do not even know why we had children in the first place. So I'm asking you today again, That will be a food for thought. Why did you become a parent? Forget about the why before you heard me talk. Think about the why after you've heard me talk about this. What would be your why? What would be that thing that would jot you back to reality to be able to actually put things in perspective? Now, one of the reasons why children are born on the world is that I heard one of my mentors say this: when there's a problem in the world, the child is sent for impact. Now, if we do not understand that part of why we became parents is to co-create with God, then we miss the essence of being parent. So, and that starts from where we begin to understand ourselves. How much do you know about you? As parents, one of the things that happen is that we repeat what we know best. We repeat what we know best. And very often than not, what we know best is from our experiences. What we know best is from our integral part of our values, our belief system, and the things that we hold through to parenting. These are all going to come from our experiences. Now, science says that we all are able to make inferences from our subconscious. And our subconscious is formed between 0 to 7 to about 10. So everything that happened to you while you were being parented is who you became. Is who you became. So the lack of understanding of who you are is what drives us to doing things against our better judgment. So, for instance, the way you were parented, your parents yelled, they were always beating, they were always screaming at you. And it is that lack of understanding of where you're coming from that makes you to actually do things against the better judgment that you have. Things that you saw your parents do, you saw them yell, you saw them hit, you didn't like it, but you end up doing it because you do not understand that everything that is happening to you comes from your experiences. There is no parenting without you understanding where you come from. What are the areas that we need to look at? All right. What are the areas that we need to look at when it comes to understanding ourselves better? What are the things that we must understand to become better parents? You cannot become a better parent without understanding a lot of the things that happen to you as a child. We can only parent better, to the degree of what we know about our past, our emotional defenses, and our psychological struggles. We can only parent better to the degrees of what we know about our past. Somebody help me write that. We can only parent better to the degrees of what we know about our past, what we know about our emotional defenses, and our psychological struggles. This will determine how much we are creating a smoother or a more rugged road in raising our children. Your past, your experiences, your emotional defenses, your psychological struggles, they are a determining factor for how you will parent better today. What are the things that you would need to look at or you would need to find that you need to actually put together in perspective when it comes to parenting your children better? Number one, self-awareness on parenting ideologies. Self-awareness on parenting ideologies. Write that in the comment section, please. That's one. Key number one on understanding yourself better. Self-awareness, all right? Yes, somebody is asking me for the quote. I said we can only parent better to the degree of what we know about our past, our experiences, our past experiences, our emotional defenses, and our psychological struggles. And I said that the first thing that you need to understand about yourself is self-awareness on parenting ideologies. Where do your ideas about parenting come from? That's the first question you want to ask yourself today. Where do they come from? They come from how you were raised. They come from who you became, the past. Where are they coming from? Many of us, our parenting ideologies are actually coming from how we were raised. The only thing that you know about parenting is how you were raised. I tell you why. One of the things I have found about the way we quote some of the scriptures, it's not because we have an understanding of this scripture. It is because those of us who are Christians. It's not because, we have an understanding of these scriptures. No, it is because they are the things that we have heard. I have found that a lot of the scriptures that we quote, a lot of the scriptures we quote, we don't quote them out of understanding. We quote them out of ideologies. They are ideas of parenting. So when you quote to support whatever ideology that you have, ask yourself, where is this coming from? Is this coming from the things that I have seen people do? The way I was raised myself? The things I have learned? How I have been taught? Where is it coming from? Your ideas about parenting, the first place it comes from is how you were parented. So when people say things like, oh, so the Bible said, spare the rod and spoil the child, without even understanding that is not even in the Bible. It tells you how deep this matter is. Because that's what you heard. You heard that people, that raised you probably said that over and again, and that became the ideology in your parenting. Whether you knew if it was correct or it wasn't correct. And you haven't even bothered to say, I want to find out where this ideology is coming from. Is it really a true ideology that works? Or is it an ideology of the people that raised me? Is it an ideology of a particular culture where I come from? Is it an ideology on the things that, that's happening, that happened around me? Where is it coming from? Many of the times I say over and again that in parenting, the reason why we question the things that the previous generation has done isn't to discredit the previous generation. It is to help us credit a better system for the generation to come. If we cannot question what was done to us, then we cannot become better as a people. So your ability to question the parenting ideologies that you already know is coming from the place of self-awareness. When you become self-aware, when you are on a journey to understand you, it gives you a leverage over a whole lot of other things that you think that you know. Number 2 is, where do your expectations about children come from? A child who is 10 is supposed to be doing this. Where is it coming from? Is it from what you saw around you? Is it from what you studied? Is it from the things you learned from experts? Is it from the things you experienced? And I tell you, so many times in the league of things, your ideology and your expectations about children come from where you were raised. Number 3 question. What will I like to change about my parenting today? What have I seen? What are the things that I think that I have seen that can change? What do I want to do better? Number 4. What does my child need from me today as a parent that is different from what I needed from my parent? Is it possible that I'm parenting a different kind of child from the child that I was to my parents? How much do you know yourself? Number 2, my personality and my temperament. This is another part of you that you want to understand as a parent to be able to effectively parent your child. What is your personality? What are your temperaments? So when people talk about temperament, I say that temperament is one of the most powerful influences in your life. However, temperament isn't destiny. I'll say that again. Temperament is one of the most powerful influences in your life. However, temperament is not destiny. But for you to make progress, you need to understand that about yourself. The more you understand about who you are, the more you are able to make changes that is required in different aspects of your lives to become a better person. Have you been able to find out if you are tended towards being melancholic in your behavior, or being choleric in your behavior, or being sanguine, or being a flag? So currently in level 1 in the inner circle, we're currently reading why you act the way you do. There is so much to why you act the way you act. Have you ever questioned yourself, why do I act this way? Because this is going to affect the kind of parent that you eventually will become, or you are eventually are, because now we're talking to parents and not people who want to become parents. If you're getting value, let me make sure that you put your comment in the comment section and invite someone, tag a person, share this link with somebody to follow through with this class. Your personality is a very big deal. Do you know that who you have become, how you learn, your temperament will affect how you raise children? Do you also know that who your parents were, that temperament, their personality affected how they raised you? There's something that we call in parenting the parenting advantage. So if your parents worked on becoming a better version of themselves, you probably had a parenting advantage over the next person. That does not mean you're smarter. Parenting advantage can actually put you in a better place than your mates, just because you had parents who were forward thinking. Now the question is, what parenting advantage will you give your children because you were the parent? Parenting advantage never happens except you actually work on you. So working on you is what gives that advantage, not working on your child. So many parents believe that when they work on their children, they actually become better. Their children become better for it. That's not true. When you work on you, your children become better for it. The question is, how much work have you done on you? Right? So, temperament and personality. Do you know what your personality is? Your temperament will affect how you parent. It will even affect how you discipline a child. Now, it's been said that, the different temperaments have a way of learning. They have different ways of learning. And if you don't understand that you are limited by the way that you are wired, created, that you can learn to do things better, of course, it backfires. Sorry about that. All right? So, of course, that backfires. So you need to understand you to be able to learn about you even better. All right? You need to work on you. Yes, parenting advantage never happens until you work on you. That's the only way you can give an advantage to your child over his contemporaries. Your temperament will affect how you parent and even discipline, because discipline is largely a result of family values, religious trainings, culture, and parents' temperament. So all of these make up how and why and what you believe about discipline. Unless you learn what is right in disciplining a child, you will respond to them according to your temperament. You will respond to them according to your temperament. So the question is, am I responding according to my temperament, or am I responding according to what I know? Two different things. Many times I parent and I find myself, at the space where I'm caught between, so that's how I am, and that's what I know. A lot of us are parenting on the grounds of that's how I am. Parenting on the grounds of that's how I am is parenting on probability. Parenting on the grounds of that's what I know is parenting on intentionality. And what does not fail is intentionality. Probability is neither here nor there. That's why some of us will come out and say, oh, but my parents did everything. 3 of us turned out well. 2 are still struggling. Is it not the same thing they did to this person, they did to that person? Probability. Parenting according to who you are. And it doesn't matter what that result, what the effect is. Intentionality. Parenting on what you have learned. So it is more rewarding to parent on knowledge than parent on just instinct. Instinctive parenting would actually have the propensity to fail you, because many of the times that is you parenting out of experience. Now, experience in itself is not necessarily always the best teacher, because your experience can be skewed, your experience can be limited, your experience can be faulty. And which is why many of the reasons I ask, is experience really the best teacher? And that's why I love the way that my pastor, Bishop David Oyedepo, says, defines wisdom. He says that wisdom is in the things that others know that you do not know. You need to parent from the place of wisdom, not from the place of just what only you know. Because your experience might be skewed, might be wrong, might only be correct at your own point of view. Too many things can actually happen to what you think you know. The next thing that you want to look at is your learning style. Most of us teach our children how we learn. One of the biggest struggles I see parents have is not just understanding how their children learn, but beyond that, understanding how they themselves learn. Many of us don't know how we learn. We don't know whether we are kinesthetic learners. We don't know whether we are auditory learners. So we are doing this session, all right? We're doing this session on understanding your child's learning style. One of the things that happens many of the times is that parents come to that class to first understand themselves. And when they get into that class, they are humbled. They understand why what happened to them academically in school even happened to them in the first place. They begin to understand, where a lot of things even begin to happen to them in the past. They begin to understand why some of them were called an olodo. They begin to understand that they probably were kinesthetic learners and they didn't find the space where they could learn from, their environment. And of course, they ended up not learning. So one of the biggest challenges we have, all right, is not even that we don't understand who we are parenting, is that we don't understand who we are to be able to parent who we are parenting. So you're teaching your child from your own style of learning style. You don't even know what that style of learning style is. So you can't really make so much impact and progress. That is you parenting from the place of that's just who I am, not what I know. When you parent from the point of who you are limited. When you parent from the point of what you know, you are limitless. Because you can teach your children even the things that you don't know. So the way we receive information differ so many times. And many of these is because of our environment, is a trigger to the kind of learners we become. But majorly, it is actually a part of our genetic profiles. When we talk about the learning style course, we talk about how you understand how it has helped, other people become better and all of that. I remember that a parent shared a testimonial when we did the last one. By the way, the next learning style class is on the 28th of March, and we have a totally revamped, learning style course this time again. And I remember that a parent was sharing how the brother who had issues learning, they didn't even know that this guy had a learning disability. And of course, that made a mess of this person. Many times we don't even understand that we had a learning disability. It's usually when parents come to this class, they come out of this class, they will say, I didn't even know that what happened to me was, I didn't even know what happened to me was dyslexia. So many of us were dyslexic about so many things, but we don't even know. Some of us never even get to know until we start to work. Some of us have, so many learning disabilities, but we don't even know. Some of us, it's just a simple not understanding how we learn, and then the environment where we are taught, and then we continue to struggle, and then it goes on. Then now we have become a parent, and we're still doing the same and one thing with our children, and our children are also struggling. So if you want to enroll for that course, it's called Understanding Your Child's Learning Style. The second early bird offer is actually on. The first early bird offer is over. The second early bird offer is 10,500 instead of 20,500. You might want to get into that course now. All right. If you're watching me on YouTube, you would see the details right on our screen. And you can also get details on our description after this conversation. All right. So learning style is actually a big deal. And it affects even the way we discipline our children. I've noticed that a lot of parents who struggle with discipline are parents who don't understand how they learn, how their children learn, and what they can actually help their children do. So that way is a struggle all the way. Number four, who is following? We've said 3. Who is following and who has tagged the friend? Who has tagged the friend to this conversation? Who has shared the link and who is following? Number 4, emotional awareness. You need to understand who you are emotionally. How do you even begin to understand who you are emotionally before you can parent right? A lot of us don't know how to handle our emotions in any way. The most, all right, 3 is what your learning style. Somebody's asking 3 is what? 3 is your learning style. All right. We've said number 1 is self-awareness on parenting ideologies. Number 2 is my personality and temperament. Number 3 is your learning style. All right. And number 4 is your emotional awareness. How are you aware? What are you aware of when it comes to your emotions? Do you know how you react to incidences? Do you know your emotional triggers? Part of what we did in the course we did last month, Becoming an Emotionally Intelligent Parent, is for parents to understand who they are emotionally. A lot of us don't understand who we are emotionally. We're just parenting. We're just going along and just moving. Who are you emotionally? Do you know your emotional triggers? Do you know how you respond to different kind of emotions? Who are you? The next one is number 5, your development and attachment style. Your development and attachment style. There are different types of attachment. But the most, the one that is on the forefront is the secure attachment style. That's the best. That's the one that we advocate for. There's the avoidant attachment style. There's the insecure, attachment style. There's so many attachment styles, about 4 or 5 of them. Many of us do not understand the kind of attachment style that we had. We shared this extensively in our course, Becoming an Emotionally Intelligent Parent. And I shared in that course how your attachment style affects how you parent your children. Let me share a very vivid example with you. Many of us have the avoidant attachment style. I will tell you why. I was in a session with the parent who reached out to me, and had said, I'm really a very busy parent. I'm really looking for a way to, look at how I work. I create more time for my children. If you are this parent or if you're listening to me, I'm sure you're going to think, yes, this parent actually want to, create more time for her child. This parent really want to be there. She said, but I don't get to find the time. And when we got into a session, by the time we did, the first session, you know what I found out? I found out that she's actually invasive about being a parent. She's avoidant. She doesn't want to be there, but she doesn't know. Now, many of the times when she comes back, all right, by the way, I have permission to share this. Many of the time when she comes back from work, she's rushing back from work to go and meet her parents, to go and meet her children. But she realizes that on her way, when she gets home and finds out that the children are asleep, she breathes a sigh of relief. Avoidant attachment. This might not make a lot of sense to you if you were not in that session on, emotional intelligence. And what that meant was that somewhere in her subconscious, she wasn't ready to be committed because she didn't have the secure attachment. She had the avoidant attachment. And for every time she avoids being in that circle. So I don't really have time to parent becomes a thing for you to brag about without even knowing that that's what you're doing. Because you have the avoidant attachment style. I hope I've not succeeded in trying to even confuse more people. I was contemplating whether I should share this or not. But I guess that, some people will grab that. And if you don't, please ask your questions. It's been said that people who have secure attachment are more stable as adults. They become more stable as adults. They are more stable in relationships. In fact, it's been said that they actually have better relationships. There have been a study that have shown that people who have secure attachment don't go through, a lot of the times, divorce. Because they understand. So I was teaching the parents in the inner circle, and I said to them, so the inner circle is a program that will run, an annual program that will run in the academy. If you want to be part of it, you can book a slot and wait for the next cohort, which starts on the 1st of December. Yes, you got to wait. That's how it runs. So, and I was teaching them, and I said that trust is built from 0 to 10, from 0 to 2. So the ability for your child to trust in relationships generally is built when the child is between the ages of 0 to 2. Interesting conversation. So on the issue of building relationships, it's not about what you do later. It's about what you had as a child between you and your parents. So you can create a secure attachment. That's the good news. You can actually go through, neuron rewiring, where, your neurons are rewired, on the secure attachment, and then begin to give you an advantage, all right, over every other thing. So how you were raised is one thing. That's why I said that you cannot just depend on, this is how I'm raised, this is what I know. You would need to learn a lot to actually move from, that's who I am, that's what I know, to the point of rewiring that neurons like avoidant attachment style, ambivalent avoidant attachment style, insecure attachment style, and moving to a secure attachment style. It takes a while. You need to do a lot of, training, a lot of going through. And the interesting thing is, so many of us fall in the category of insecure attachment style and avoidant attachment style. And using that to parent, all right? Using that to parent a child doesn't help your child. It doesn't give your child an advantage. So your child probably will end up the same way you are, not a better version. Because what you know is not a better version of, whatever it is. So yes, You need to work on you to be able to get to a point where you're moving from that insecure attachment to a secure attachment. The question is, you need to start now. The next thing that you need to understand about yourself is understanding that parenting is not guilt tripping. You know, a lot of the things that we've shared today come from the place of, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know if I'm doing it right and all of that. Maybe I've missed it. I didn't start early. Start today. It's good that you start even before you start parenting. This is a session that we do as pre-parental counseling for couple. Yes, it's one of those sessions. Of course, it's more in-depth than this. We get to treat the attachment theory. You get it. Sometimes when we get into pre-parental counseling, when we're done, some of the couple find out that they might not be able to do this together. A lot of the relationship break that we have come from how people were raised. And if we get to understand that that is part of, spousal selection, then we would begin to actually do things better. So when it comes to, parenting better, when it comes to doing things a lot more better, you need to put a lot of things into consideration. So since you are at a place where you are, you didn't get to do a pre-parenting counseling, you didn't understand what you needed to look out for, and blah, 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 blah. I said, no guilt parenting. Start today, all right? You don't have to be perfect to build on your strength. Intentional parenting is about building on your strength. Somebody help me write that. Intentional parenting is about building on your strength and not concentrating on your weaknesses. Intentional parenting is about building on your strength and not just concentrating on your weaknesses. When you build on your strength, you will see that your weaknesses, you naturally begin to convert them and they become strength as well. All right, the next one is, what level of self-worth do you know about you? How much self-worth do you have? What do you understand about you? And that will include, what values do I have? What personal values do I have? What are my religious values? What are my cultural values? Any person without a defined value cannot raise the next person to become better. All right? You would need to look at value. What is that value that you have? How is that value going to help you become a better parent? All right? The next one is knowledge. How much do I really know about parenting? How much do I really know about parenting? Or, I don't know anything, I'm going to learn on the go. As usual. How much do I know about parenting? Let me give you some areas of the things that you might want to look at. How much do I know about discipline? Many times when I see the conversation around discipline, I am a bit worried. Not a bit, very much so. Because a lot of us do not understand what it is. And discipline is a core area of parenting. Without discipline, parenting is blabberdash. So when people say, oh, is the parenting you are teaching, intentional parenting is about not disciplining children, I'm a bit shocked. Are you kidding? In fact, the anchor of intentional parenting is discipline. So intentional parenting is first about discipline. Discipline first by the parent, even before the child. Because of the structures that discipline is involved in, because of the kind of things that you need to learn about it. The question is, how much do I know about myself? How disciplined am I as a parent? Parenting, discipline is structure. What is the structure that I have as a parent? So your disciplinary strategy starts with you and the things you know and how you are able to manage yourself and not just your child. So what your child knows about discipline is actually what it is that you have actually been able to exhibit. So that's the question you want to ask yourself. What do I know about discipline? Number two, what do I know about child development? Is it what they said or what you heard or old wife fables? Oh, they said that once a child is 1, the child should have been walking. Is that really correct? Oh, when the child is 2, the child should have been talking. Is that really correct? What do you know about child development? What do you know about raising children? Or is it just about the things that you saw? Is it just about experiences? You know, I said earlier, experiences are not always the best teacher because your experience might be wrong. Your experience might be skewed. Your experience might even not be how it is that you saw it because of the circumstances surrounding the experience per time. So your experience is not necessarily the best teacher, especially not on your parenting journey. Let me tell you what happens with experience on your parenting journey. Your experience might be the right thing, it might also be the wrong thing. So let's assume that your experience is the wrong thing and then you do it and you didn't know. You get to a point you regret everything you've done because you didn't know better. Because you were doing that according to your limitations. Again, your experience can be limited. Because your experience can be limited, that's why you need knowledge. That's why you need knowledge. All right? And that knowledge is not your personal experiences, the experiences of others, the things that others have to say, the things that people have seen, and what it is that they've also gone through for you to be able to learn to do things better. How much do I really know about my learning style? How much do I really know about who I've become? One of the things that I've seen, time is fast spent, and this is part of what, this is part of what we actually do in the inner circle, where we run through a whole full year curriculum that helps you to find yourself. Many of the times, so I was teaching on financial literacy to the parents in the inner circle, teaching your children financial literacy, and I was sharing on financial trauma. And a lot of us do not even understand that why we do what we do when it comes to our finances is because we've been traumatized with the kind of finances that we saw, or the kind of financial training that we saw with our children growing up, with our parents growing up. And that has determined who we have become. So the question is, how do you even know? How much do you know about yourself for you to parent the next person? Remember, I said that when you are parenting from just who you are, you parent on probability. When you are parenting on the things that you are learning, who you are becoming, you will parent on intentionality, and that gives you a better result. Which do you want? Probability, intentionality. Both of them are valid, but both of them have pros and have the resultant effects. So whatever it is that you choose it at the detriment of a child, which is actually where parenting becomes really hard. And if we make our choices according to just the only thing that we know or we do and all of that, just us, then it's easy. But unfortunately, we are a people raising another generation. We're raising, people who are going to be the people manning the world in the next few years to come. Are we destroying or are we building? Are we impacting or are we bringing down? What exactly are we doing? What kind of parent are you? Who are you? Many of us do not even understand that we cannot stand in a place. Do you know that your confidence level will affect how you raise your child? Your confidence level will affect how you raise your child. How? In fact, the way you even talk to your children to have there's something we call the believability factor. That's what I call it, right? The believability factor. How much your children, the people you're parenting will believe you, will be dependent on how much confidence you have also built. How do you build confidence? You don't build confidence, all right? When you parent on, yes, you don't build confidence on just the things you know. You build confidence on the things you learn. When you parent on what you know, you are limited. When you're a parent on who you are limited. When you parent from what you know, you are limitless. Let me say that again. When you parent on what you know, you are limitless. When you parent on who you are limited, because you as a person is limited. I've said before that it's an error to think that you alone, you as you are with what you know, and just you will be able to actually raise a giant. Like the analogy that I always give for parents in the inner circle. I say it's either you're building a mansion or you're building a shanty. A mansion will require that you put in a lot of work. You need professionals. You need people to come in to build your mansion. But if you are building a shanty, you don't need anybody. You see, it limits you to a shanty. So parenting a child just because of who you are, just from who you are, limits you to things like shanties. But when you parent from what you know, you are limitless because you can keep knowing. So you are limitless. That's why there's something called the Matthew effect. To whom that much is given, you are still giving more. To those that do not have, it is taken away from them. There's a Matthew effect in parenting. The more you know, the more your children are actually giving that parenting advantage, and you're giving more insight, and you're shown more. The more you do not know, the more it's taken away from you, and you are still limited. How much are you being limited? How much are you being limited? If you're not confident enough as a parent, you will probably raise somebody who you cannot impact. So your level of impact on your child is directly proportional to the level of confidence that you have. Let me say that again. The level of impact that you have on your child is directly proportional to the level of confidence that you exude as a parent. And confidence comes from the place of knowledge. It is from the place of what you know. It is knowledge that gives you that stability to make impact in the life of your child. The more you know, the more impact you can make in the life of your child. The less you know, the less impact you can make in the life of your child. Did someone help us capture that quote? Whatever it is that you want to actually do comes from a lot of confidence. And your confidence level is on the things you learn. Is on the things you learn. And you know what? Your children know when you are confident on your journey, and they know when you're not confident on your journey. They understand it. You think they don't, but they do. They know when they can take you seriously and say, yes, this woman actually means what she's saying. Yes, this man actually means what he's saying. Oh, yes, this man understands what he's saying. Your children know. Your level of confidence is built on the things you learn. What are you learning? What are you learning? Who are you? Who are you raising? Are you making an impact on your child? Or are you just living through and just becoming a tyrant? There's a limit. There's a limit to how you can parent without knowledge. There is no limit to how you can parent with knowledge. The more you know, the more impact you can make in the life of your child. The less you know, the less impact you can make in the life of your child. The confidence level you exhibit is what would actually, that is directly proportional to whatever it is, the impact that you're actually going to make in your child. Who are you? What exactly are you doing as a parent? Are you parenting from the place of just what it is that the ideologies that you found your parents give? Are you parenting from the place of the things that you have learned? The ideology, what are those ideologies that you have learned, that you have refused to question? What are those ideologies that you have refused to look back to go and ask questions about? Reviewing your past, remember, it's not you coming to a place of trying to put your parents down. It's you coming to a place of where you can become better to give the generation better. The whole idea about our society is that the next generation becomes better than the previous generations. If you're not better and you do not know better than what it is that your parents used to know, you have failed. If all you know is what your parents know, you have failed. Because when you say, that's how I was parented, and it turned out okay, that is you failing. Because even your parents will expect that you will be an improved version of who they were. Even the world will expect that you will become an improved version of a parent of what you used to be. The world would expect that your children will become a better version of who you were as a child. So when you continue to go back to tell us that, oh, after all, I turned out okay, the same thing my parents did is exactly what I'm going to do, you have failed. Because even your parent doesn't expect you to do the same thing. They expect you to actually upgrade. They expect you to operate on a higher function. They expect you to actually upgrade on a higher knowledge. But the question is, are you still parenting like your parents? A lot of us are on that table. Are you still parenting like your parents? If all you know is what your parents knew about parenting, you have failed woefully, completely. What else do you know? Apart from that's the way the discipline does. That's who we are. After all, we turned out okay. What else do you know? Apart from, oh, they said it, spare the rod that spoiled the child, which obviously is even in the scriptures. What else do you know? Apart from, oh, this is how it is. They told us once you abuse a child, the child learns better. They did it to me, I learned better. And hey, here I am doing better. What else do you know? What else do you know? There's a limit to what you can do without knowledge. There's a limit to how you can parent without knowledge. There is no limit to what you can achieve if you are parent with knowledge. How much knowledge do you have? If you have questions, put it right in the comment section. If you don't, let me see your favorite quote from this class. Write in the comment section. Remember that the class and the registration for understanding your child's learning style course is still open. That course premieres on the 28th of March. The good thing about our courses is that it's online and you can go through at your time, at your pace, even if you cannot follow, the system and the classes when they will start running. And you can actually learn how to become a better parent by following through the Intentional Parent Academy. One of the things that we've also done is to use books to actually reframe the things that you know and what it is that your parents used to know. We have this book called Resolving the Sibling Rivalry. We have From Yelling to Calm. We have Connect to Correct. We have The Discipline That Works. We have Sex Educate Your Child Like a Pro. We have Walking Your Child Through Puberty, which comes with a workbook that you can use to work with your child. And then these are the books that we have, and you can find them on Amazon. You can book a session with us so that you can understand and we will craft a system for your parenting. You can also book a slot to join the Inner Circle for 2023. The Inner Circle for 2023 is already, we have almost 200 parents who have booked a slot to be right in the Inner Circle for 2023. for 2023. All right, but that starts on the 1st of December. Book now, because if you book now, it means that the price hike that is coming soon will not affect you. All right, but if you book later, the price hike, after we've done the price hike, you're going to be affected. You're going to pay the new fee. So it might be best for you to pay the old fee. Once you book, that means you're covered. You will still be able to pay the old fee. But if you don't, you will not be able to pay the new fee, whenever it is that we do the reviews. All right. So let me see your question. And let me see what your best quote for this session was. And then remember that in the learning style course, if you are a parent in the waiting, you're waiting for the academy for the inner circle, take our courses, take the learning style course. It's going to open your eyes to a lot of things. You're going to learn how you can help your child even reprogram their studies. I particularly used learning style to make my son a star student. All right. Until I learned how he learned, I couldn't understand how it is and what it is that he needed to do. And that helped me a lot. It has helped thousands of parents to move from point A to point B. You want to be in that class. If your child is struggling with reading, if your child is struggling with school, if your child is struggling with just, all the child knows is just passing exams, you might actually want to come and learn how to inculcate the joy of learning in your child, what we call the concept of learned helplessness. It's one of the topics that we treat in the inner circle. So we're going to be sharing it with parents in the inner circle on learned helplessness, but that's something that can actually affect your journey. All right. So come and learn today. There's an early bird offer that ends in 3 days for 10,500. All right. And there's after that, the early bird offer will move to 15,500. And of course, as we keep progressing till we get to the real actual fee, which is 20,500. And if you're watching me on Facebook, the details here has been pinned, all right, in the comments so that you can go through. All right, thank you so much. I can see the quote. With knowledge, there is absolutely no limit to what you can do. Coach, that's why I prayed for you on your birthday that you will not disappear suddenly, because we don't even know anything yet, and we act as if we know. God bless you again and again. Thank you. I'm not going to disappear nowhere. Now that cracked me up. You will not disappear suddenly. Amen. If you're parenting from who you are limited. But if you're parenting from what you know, you're limitless. Yes, that was the anchor quote for David. Okay. Parenting based on who you are makes you limited, while parenting based on what you know makes you limitless. All right. I saw another quote. If all you know is what your parents knew about parenting, then you have failed. And yes. That's my favorite for today. If all you know is what your parents knew about parenting, then you have failed your children to become a better parent. All right. Thank you so much. With knowledge, there is absolutely nothing. All right. Intentional parenting is anchored on discipline. Yup. Intentional parenting is anchored on discipline. That's the first place of intentional parenting. If you're not disciplined as a parent, you can't practice intentional parenting. That I know. All right. Confidence comes from the place of knowledge. All right. If all you know is what your parents knew about parenting, then you have failed. Yup. How can you help a 3-year-old talk? He can say words but cannot connect. Speak to him always. Speak to your 3-year-old always. It's a stage of language. All right. If you have a 3-year-old who can talk, remove all the screens. I've said that the skills that your children need to thrive in the 21st century is not on the screen. I've said that over and again. If you've listened to me, you will hear me say it over and over again. Take out the screen, speak to your child. It's a stage of language. Your child wants to learn the words. Give them words. My parents want me to do more than they did, not exactly how they fared. Beautiful. Our parents want us to do actually more than what they did, not just about the things that they did. All right. Favorite quote is, there's a limit to what you can do without knowledge. Absolutely. If you're parenting with who you are, you're limited. If you're parenting with what you know, you are limitless. Yes. I love all of the quotes that you have put out here. Confidence comes from the place of knowledge. Absolutely. If all you know is what your parents knew, then you have failed as a parent. Thank you so much, everybody. Remember that the early bird offer ends in 4 days for you to be in the learning style course. Trust us. when you're coming to any of our classes, we're not saying bring your expectations. We don't ask that question. The Intentional Parent Academy is the expectation. So yes, when you're coming to meet the expectation. You will be glad that you were part of that session. Trust me. If it's a bragging right, we've got that. All right. So yes, let's try to brag a bit. So see you right in that session. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube video. We have tons and tons of videos that can help you even become a better parent. We call it the Parenting Netflix. There are parents who have been on this video and have taken a turn on their intentional parenting, journey, even before they join the academy. I know parents who have listened to the videos, tons of videos before joining the academy. And then the only thing is that when you get into the academy, you will get, a clearer vision, more understanding. But trust me, while you wait, the Intentional Parenting YouTube community is a go-to tool for you to actually revamp your parenting. Thank you so much for joining me again and again. And thank you again for all of the birthday wishes. YouTube community, I saw you go literally, off the hook on the YouTube tab. I thank you so much. Thank you for all you did. And thank you. Shout out to the parents in the inner circle parents. If you're here, I want you to share the fire emojis. The fire emojis everywhere. You guys are the real deal. Thank you so much. And you gave us the zeal to continue to teach. I look forward to our session this week. I look so forward to it. Right in the inner circle has been, amazing, awesome. Thank you so much for the honor, the messages, everything that you shared on Thursday with me. Your time, for those of you who came along to come and sit with me on that day, I don't take it for granted. Thank you so much for all that you also do, for the encouragement, for every time my team is encouraged to work and work and work. Shout out to my team members. Shout out to you, Precious Augustine. Shout out to you, Joy. Thank you so much. Linda, I see you guys. Thank you for doing this with us. All right, so see you again next Tuesday. If you're on Instagram, you can follow us where we share, tips and hacks. But remember, parenting is not about tips and hacks. Parenting is about the process. While you follow, commit to the process and give your parenting journey life. See you again, and as we continue to actually serve you and serve you a lot more better. Inner Circle parents, see you in the yard.